Morning! It's Tuesday the 7th of June and here I am on the railway station at Maybole, and I've just got off the train from Ayr. Yesterday I had a bit of a bad time with myself in thinking things out to make myself feel happy again, because I've been getting a bit depressed, apart from with the weather also. That's one thing, but fighting traffic on the A77 has really got to me. You saw yesterday on my walk up to here, I managed to get off the A77, which was a good thing. And Maybole is more or less midway between Girvan, where I stayed last night and drove up here this morning, and also halfway between Maybole and Ayr. So having walked through here yesterday, noticed there was a railway station, so I took a mental note of that. And when I got up this morning with a fresh kind of outlook and the way I'm thinking, I decided to drive up to Ayr, park the van there, which parking is included in the price of the ticket, which is more or less the same price as the bus. Loads of space, it's safe there, there's cameras on it, and I can get the train up here, and it'll only take about 20 minutes, which it did. And now it's my job to walk back the 8 miles into Ayr. And it's a good thing actually that I am reaching Ayr, because that should see the end of a lot of this walking on main roads, because there's a beach that starts here, and I know that depends on tide times and that kind of thing. But there's a coast path here, even though I reckon a lot of it's going to be on promenades. And north of here you've got several seaside resorts, well-known seaside resorts, as an example, Largs and those kind of places, on my way up to Port Glasgow, which is my destination at this point, before I really then need to start making some more decisions for when I get north of Glasgow. And I'm told by several people that's going to be a nightmare, so I've got that to think about as well. I very nearly decided to go back to Manchester for 2 or 3 days, because the weather forecast for today is not cold and it's not windy or anything like that, and what wind there is going to be behind me. It's coming from the south, and as I say, it's 8 miles, and the road I drove up to Ayr this morning, because there is the A77 that runs more or less a couple of miles to the west of the road that I chose this morning, and it's never been the main road in the past, but it's a hilly up and down kind of road, and the only traffic I saw this morning was tractors. Really, at least I'm out of that traffic and out of the dangers, which is the most important thing to me. But if I'd have gone back to Manchester, which I thought about doing, simply because today, as I say, is not good. Tomorrow it's going to rain. Thursday it's miserable like this. Friday it's miserable like this. But on Saturday, like, the sun comes out. From there on, mind you, this has happened before, and I've got excited thinking, oh well, next week it's going to be great, and by the time next week comes, it's back to this level. But the forecast does look much better, which should put a spring back in my step, because I'm a bit tired. I have had a cold, and I've still not there yet with that, and I'm finding walking a little bit hard, even though I've done some long distances this week. Today's only 8 miles, should do that in about 3 to 4 hours. I'm not in a rush, my van's safe, so that's it. But I did notice on the way through on the road some fantastic houses, some fantastic scenery, and also Robbie Burns' birthplace I'll be walking past, so that you might find that interesting. So it's now 9:56. I've been sat here for a while chatting away to you, and I've thoroughly enjoyed that. I've just got a message, if I may. Well, there's 2 little messages actually. One for Clive Spencer. Clive, I keep getting messages from you. I still watch your programme, and I know you wanted to get hold of me to be a guest or something or other. Well, I tried to message you this morning, I just can't do it on your site. It just doesn't seem to be accepting my messages. You've got my phone number, but I'll give you it again, 07816 868877, or if you forget that, or you don't watch this part, then it's at the end of the film. There it is, my UK telephone number. You can call me anytime and we'll talk about that. And tomorrow, because I'm rained off, I'm only going to be sat in the van, so that would be the ideal day to have a chat with you if that's what you've got in mind. There's another little thing here as well. It'll take me just a second to find it. I mentioned yesterday about the Scottish ladies curling team, and my friend, who's almost like a computer, he's got a mind of knowledge which is incredible. That's my friend Clinton. He said that I was saying about the name of, here we are, yes, the name of the lady that I really liked who was in the Scottish curling team, and that was in the Winter Olympics of 2002, and it was Rona Martin. And that, I think that rings a bell. I'd be interested to know how many of you chaps out there was watching the Winter Olympics for 2002, and it's amazing to think that's like 20 years ago nearly. And but she also reminded me of that wonderful Scottish weather announcer whose name has gone as well. Very attractive Scottish women with an absolutely beautiful voice, and very attractive. Anyway, enough of that. I'm going for a walk. See you later.
You
Now about 150 metres to my left is a house, and a chap just pulled out of there in his car off to the post office, and he stopped and he said, "What are you doing here?" You know, so I said, "Well, I'm just having a chill out, you know, walking UK and having a chat and everything." And he says, "I'm just going to pop up to the post office and post this, a couple of letters." He says, "I'll be back in about 10 minutes. He says, "Come in and have a cup of tea." What a lovely bloke as well. And we've been chatting away, and what a very lovely man. And he was telling me all the history about Elsa Craig, and we was talking about the curling stones, and apparently that Rona, forgotten the surname, lived in that area, but a very knowledgeable man who knows this county inside out. And I'm going to see if I can talk to him on camera. He's such a lovely man. So we'll just wait and see. But I'm doing well, I'm not in a rush, I'm enjoying this. The wind's getting up a little bit, but it's behind me, it doesn't bother me. It's very scenic, this, and I've got an awful lot more to show you. Having already driven down this road this morning, I can see what's in front of me. There's some quite steep hills, and but I'm walking well. And while I've been sitting here, by the way, my Fitbit stopped working, and so while I've been waiting here, I've managed to fix it. So all the data that I thought I'd lost, telling me the distances I've walked each day, which I thought were lost and gone forever, have reappeared, which is great. And it's told me that I've already walked about 4,500 steps this morning, which is about 2.5 miles, which would be about right. So I'm more than a quarter of the way now to Ayr. So it'd be really interesting actually going into this cottage, and I don't know whether he's a widow or whether he's married or what, but what a lovely man. He says, "Come and have a cup of tea." So you know me, I can't resist a nice cup of tea. And you know, this is the best plan I've made for ages, where I'm just enjoying this stroll in such wonderful countryside. I know it's not the coast path. That's not. You're going to see the sea from now on. Once I reach Ayr, you'll be seeing beaches and people on the beaches and all this kind of stuff. And I'm not going to get any like traditional coast path like Pembrokeshire or the southwest coastal path already, anything like that. It's a completely different thing. And it's completely and utterly different in every single way to East Scotland, which I thoroughly enjoyed every minute of. So I'm going to go and have this cup of tea, and I'll see you later. So here I am, and this is Bobby. And Bobby, thank you very much indeed for inviting me in for your cup of tea. We've had a real good old natter, haven't we? It's been interesting, very interesting speaking to you. You seem to know an awful lot about what goes on in this area. Have you always lived here in this area?
Always lived in this area.
Yes. And are you a walker yourself then? I mean, you know...
When I was fit and younger, I was a walker, but...
Yeah, you're just taking it easy now. You tell me you've got a horse as well now.
Yes, I do.
Right, that's fantastic. And it's a nice little secluded place you live in here. I mean, I was sat on the wall just taking in the air, but the cars, they go past you at about 80 miles an hour, don't they? They come down that hill really quick. I was sat on that bridge, and if they'd have oversteered, they'd have clipped me. You know, it's a bit daunting. Do you get many accidents on there then?
We have in the past had a few. Yes, we get some.
Yeah.
No, on a regular basis, but
yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
Like most parts of the country and most parts of the road, of course you're going to have accidents.
Of course. Now what about this miserable weather we're having? What do you think?
I think it's been good this last wee while. At least we can sit outside and have our tea this morning.
That's right. But the sun isn't due to come out until Saturday.
Well, that'll suit me. I've had my share of sun this last wee while.
Thanks for your hospitality, and it's been lovely meeting you.
No problem.
And I think the name of that woman was Rona Martin.
That's her.
That's her.
The curler.
Yes.
Yes, that's her.
Yes, that's the one. And the newsreader is I always forget her name. But
Carol.
Carol Kirkwood.
That's her.
I just have a memory block about that. because I've got this Welsh guy who comes walking with me occasionally. I haven't seen him this year, but he walked all over the country with me, and we used to say, "Good morning," or you know, or, "Off we go," and he'd do it in a Welsh voice, but it just sounded almost like Carol Kirkwood. It was quite comical. Lovely to meet you. Thank you very much, Bobby.
Thank you.
Cheers now.
Nice
Cheers.
to meet you.
It's 12:50 now, and I've just stopped for a break, just to sit down, and a lovely Scotch egg, give me a little bit more energy. I'm doing really well actually. I thought this might be difficult because there's quite a lot of steep hills. The traffic's obviously an awful lot quieter than the A77, but nevertheless there are still a number of cars flying around. You expect that. And I think they've got the same idea as me. Let's take the scenic route to Ayr. But I'm about halfway now, I reckon, so I'm doing quite well. I'm not in a rush. That very nice chap that I stayed and had a cup of tea with, we was chatting for ages and looking at a few of his things in his garden, and he's noticed that he had some goldfinches on his Niagara seed feeders and all that kind of stuff, things that I used to be very interested in. A very nice fella, lovely cup of tea, and it's going well. The weather's kept alright, it's not cold, the wind isn't as strong as I thought it was going to be, and it's a very pleasant walk, and there's more to come. It's 2:39 now, and I've just arrived at a cafe called Pet's Corner, having a nice welcome cup of tea. It's not my first one though. I was invited in. Very nice chap invited me in, if you remember, not long after I'd left Maybole, but that was lovely to meet him. But I'm sat immediately opposite Burns Cottage, where he was born, and I didn't know that he died as young as 37. But that's something I've learned. I'm never really into that kind of thing, if I'm to be honest with you, but everybody knows of Rabbi Burns. So I've only got about a mile to walk now into the back to my van, which is parked up outside the railway station, and if you buy a ticket you get free parking, which is really good when you consider that the cost of travelling was only £3.30 or something like that, and that includes your parking fee, whereas if you pay to park, it's £3 anyway, so that's pretty good going. It's been a lovely walk, thoroughly enjoyed it. The weather's turned quite bright now, the sun keeps poking through. The weather forecast for tomorrow is really iffy. It's going to be raining in the morning, but that might not stop me to do something in the afternoon. But if you don't hear from me tomorrow, you know that they got it wrong and I'll be having a day off. So I can't tell until the morning and see what the weather actually does. But it's been a great walk. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you later. I've just called by and just had a lovely cup of tea, and Leslie and Susan, and thank you very much indeed. It would seem strange. May I ask a silly question? Maybe did Rabbi Burns come in here for his cup of tea and his
not recently
his tea cakes and stuff like that?
Yeah. Not recently.
Does it? I mean, obviously people are attracted to it, and you're in an absolutely prime position for people to come for tea and coffee, aren't you?
Yes.
Yes. Well, I wish you all the best, and thank you very much indeed.
Thank you. It's nice meeting you. Lovely to meet you.
Thank you. Thank you.
Nice. Thank you.